Hey, welcome back to Toll for Talks. Today we're going to take a look at Voodoo Child, the illustrated legend of Jimi Hendrix. This is a book that was kind of on my wish list for a long time. And then those darn Kayfabers did a video and the Kayfabe effect happened. And for a solid 2 weeks, this book was kind of hard to find on eBay, but when the price came back down after those 2 weeks, I figured I better grab a copy. So I did, and thought maybe we'd just take a look at some of the highlights in the book. Man, there's all these really great splash pages like this that have, where Bill Sienkiewicz manages to get a remarkable likeness of Jimi Hendrix. So I don't know how he does this. I've scoured the internet. I don't know if he uses some kind of projection, like an artograph. I think it's artgraph projector, or if he's just that good a draftsman. But the price was kind of high for a while after their video, but I think it went down to 12. I got this one for like $12.50 plus shipping, and I found a brand new copy with the CD not too long ago for about the same price with shipping. So I'm going to send this one to a buddy of mine who's a guitar player and was formerly a graphic artist, designer in another life. But the way it's laid out, there's kind of some flashbacks. Starts out in London. Starts out with him dying, or almost dying. And then his life flashes before his eyes. And, he did this in 95, so this is a few years after the first Big Numbers came out. Big Numbers 1 came out. I think that came out in 90. And I know from what I understand from interviews, he quit Big Numbers just because it was too labor intensive, too time intensive was part of it. Using a lot of photographic reference, and I think was part of it in live models. And so it was just apparently more than he thought he could handle over, any length of time. But I can't figure that. After looking at this, I can't really figure that out, because this seems to me like it would have to be at least that labor intensive. And I don't have my copy of Big Numbers next to me, but I'm thinking the first issue couldn't be much more than 40, maybe 32 pages, maybe 48. I don't know, but this is 120, whatever. Big Numbers is in black and white. So, I have no idea. To me, this looks like, and this is color, way, way more labor intensive. This is a cool page. Young Hendrix. I think he just figured out how to tune his guitar. He's making some music, and that music is magic. But guitars are like impossible. If this was just a book of guitars, it would be pretty cool, because I tell you what, I have a hard time with guitars for some reason. I play guitar, and I have a hard time with guitars. So, I don't know if I kind of feel like I remember seeing this book like Music Land or something back in the day, but I can't say for sure. In 95, I was in college and fully into playing in a band and just doing school. So, yeah, I was pretty much checked out of anything as far as graphic novels or comics or anything like that. Might have been buying some Spider-Man. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, so this is the story in here. This is how he met Billy Cox while he was in the Air Force. And I knew he was in the service, but I did not realize that he had successfully completed airborne ranger training, which, from what I understand, is pretty freaking difficult, and he probably would have stayed in the Army except for, the accident he had with his ankle. Did I pass that? Yeah. No, I think it's still coming up. So anyway, he's in the Air Force. He's jamming. I believe this is his grandmother, who's a native Cherokee, I think, who lived in Canada. And he spent a lot of time with her because of all the problems he had at home. His mom and dad didn't really get along, and at some point split up. But yeah, so he's back in New York now, playing a gig. He meets this lady who's setting him up with some gigs. Yeah, we must have missed kind of going through this. I figured I could spend like 2 hours on this, but I've got some time to draw this afternoon. And so now that it doesn't, yeah, there it is. That's the panel. Whoops. So I think that was a cool way to show the injury that pulled Hendrix out of the service. And then there's all these great, maybe you'd call them pastiches, of just like what's going on in the world of music. Just names and images of JFK. So I'm not sure if he was elected in 62, or the assassination I think was 60, maybe 63. Somewhere thereabouts. But at some point he figures out things are happening in London. Well, actually, this is one of those flashbacks. This is one of those deals that I found, like the first time I read it, to be a bit confusing. But to be perfectly honest, really, this is one of those books where I'm just mostly just looking at the art. Because, I don't know, there's just a handful of artists that really get me in the mood to draw. And Sienkiewicz is one of them. Like, if I don't feel like drawing, all I have to do is pull out Little Bill Sienkiewicz or check out his Twitter feed or Instagram, and usually fires me up to do some drawing, painting, whatever. So here he's on the road, and he's really getting tired of playing as a backup man. And yeah, I didn't realize I knew he played with a lot of guys, but I hadn't forgot he played, or maybe I never knew that he played with Little Richard and didn't get along with him. No surprise. Sounds like a lot of people didn't get along with Little Richard, especially if you were in his band. Jamming with Muddy. Yeah, so if you know anything about the blues, or if you're into Hendrix at all, I think this is really good. I think part of the reason I put off buying this is I just didn't think it was going to be very cool. I guess for me, comics, graphic novels, whatever are best when it's just fiction, science fiction, horror, whatever. And this sort of thing is maybe just, read a real book. A real book, whatever that is. Yeah, so here he's hanging out in New York and he hears Bob Dylan's Highway 61 revisited. If memory serves, that's Mike Bloomfield playing guitar on Highway 61. It's a really good album. I listen to that a lot. That looks like some photo work. I don't know, man. It's kind of wild that he makes this all work. There's, this is, to me, it looks obviously like the photo of a brownstone or whatever, an apartment building in New York. And then there's watercolors on the next page, or gouache used as watercolors. So I don't know if that's man, that almost looks like it's photographic. This looks like the cover of one of, is it Blood on the, I want to say Blood on the Tracks, but Paul McCartney. Yeah, so if you're into, this era of music at all, this book is just really, really great. I think, maybe for a biography on a musician, a visual graphic novel type format, you're missing the music. Of course, you can always put the music on, but it seems like it doesn't work. But, if it's this is as good as it gets. And this is London. He's putting a band together. He has that producer that caused him so much grief. He's already with him. Playing gigs. Getting frustrated, smashing guitars. Only to find out they love the guitar smashing. And that becomes one of his things. But like when I was really young, I had no idea about Hendrix. I didn't really come across Hendrix until I was in college. I had a copy of Exile on Main Street on CD and, would listen to it every once in a while, but I had a roommate that just loved Exile on Main Street. And so he started buying Stones CDs and we all started listening to the Rolling Stones. And then somehow I just started getting into more kind of music from that time. The Doors and Hendrix, and I think in high school it was all, mixtapes that guys that had graduated before me would send back from college. So, a bunch of college rock type stuff, which is cool, but there isn't a ton of amazing guitar. Not like this. But, if there's anyone, I think Sienkiewicz is really the only one that could have just really done this justice. There's a live performance. Hendrix starting his guitar on fire. I wonder if this is Woodstock. This might be Woodstock. Yeah, maybe not. But this is pretty good visual representation of a live musical performance, and exciting. And, well, probably went overboard on that's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but that's kind of cool. The palette's similar, and the crowd scene, it almost looks like the fires, going through the crowd. All right, looks like he's back in the States. He's having money trouble. He's trying to get a studio built in New York. And, yeah. Looks like, I think this is his mom dies. He goes to a school in Seattle to talk to some kids. Still having money troubles. He's touring. He doesn't feel good about touring because there's all this social unrest in the country at the time over Vietnam and the war. It's funny how we've had pretty much war nonstop since World War II. Now we have this thing in Ukraine, and I don't know, as long as the Ukrainian kids are dying, it's okay, but I don't know. It's weird that there isn't more. People aren't talking about it a little bit, at least talking about it. This is another great splash page. Man, just anytime you can distort figures and like that and have it still come off, pretty neat. But then another thing I like about Sienkiewicz is the way he uses these different styles to convey different feelings, emotions. They're breaking up. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess there's, it's been a while since I really dug into Hendrix, but they didn't really there's some, ideas that maybe one of his producers, managers, actually murdered him, killed him. And that isn't really alluded to, or if it is, it's pretty subtle. But, that's kind of one of the interesting things about him, about his death. And of course, he's part of the 27 Club. Janis Joplin and Jim Morrison, Hendrix, Kurt Cobain. Here we go. Now we're at Woodstock. Yeah, so breakfast in bed for $400,000. With bad weather and overcrowded roads, the Catskills, home of Woodstock Summer Festival, has been declared a disaster area. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jimi Hendrix Experience. Bunch of dirty hippies. So yeah, Jimmy's still got money. He's trying to build Electric Ladyland in New York. And he's finally got the the studio he wanted to realize his vision. He's got a record producer he likes. He's meeting people like Miles Davis. He's going to make like the best, most amazing pop album ever. But the stress of it all is too much. You can't take it. And yeah, so he passes away from a drug overdose, allegedly. And yeah, this Monica person, she's kind of interesting. If you look, I can't remember her last name, but like you might be able to just type Google Monica Hendricks photos, and there's a lot of, I did that, and there were just all sorts of really cool, really nice photos that I'd never seen before. But, you know, I guess here you could debate whether we needed that many panels, but I don't know. Doesn't matter. That's cool. The only thing, you know, I think I mentioned this with Kingdom Come, is that these hard lines in gouache just don't work for me, or watercolor, you know, any kind of painted. For some reason the you know, the lettering, the speech bubbles didn't really, the text bubbles didn't really bother me that much. But yeah, even you know, like here, this looks like it was drawn out. These kind of look like they were photoshopped in later or something, but it's better again here, so I'm not sure what was going on, but yeah, so we get a look at Jimmy's life, and then it's time. Okay. Time to say goodbye until we meet again. The story of love is hello and goodbye until we meet again. Yeah. So, geez, where is he? In France? That looks like, I don't know. Oh, no, Big Ben. Okay. That's solved. No CD. But if you want to stick around for a minute, this one's going to my buddy in another town. And this is, whoops, supposedly new copy of Voodoo Child with CD. I'm going to just take a look at it. Make sure I'm still recording. Going strong. All right. iPad battery is holding out. Cool. Looking good. Geez, it looks like he wrapped this up like 25 years ago. Like in the 90s. All right. Well, it's a copy. Actually, this one has a few wrinkles and some page bends, so I can tell already that this is in better shape for what it's worth. But I really just wanted a copy of the CD. Just don't know why. You know, when you collect stuff, you get weird like that. Yeah, anyway, so if, you know, I guess the big picture here is the story, the moral of this video is, You know, if the Kayfabers do a video on something that's on your wish list, the price goes crazy. Wait a couple weeks. I guess I had to wait a couple months for this one, but this one, yeah, you know, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, I was getting, the price had gone back down and everything was, you know, back to the way it not necessarily should be, but just the way the bubble had broke. But anyway, hey, peace. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.